Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and in today's video, we're gonna do a quick unboxing and first look at the Nextiva X-835, which is a desktop IP phone from Nextiva. But first, remember, you're watching the #1 channel on all things business phone systems and business internet related educational videos, tips, and advice to help you make the best buying decisions and maybe even save yourself a little money along the way. So hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of our content and so that you're notified when new videos release. Okay, so here is our box for the X-835 IP phone from Nextiva. For those of you who may or may not remember, we actually did an unboxing and first review of Nextiva's 885, which, like this phone, is also Wi-Fi and also has a color screen. But the difference between the two, from what I've gathered at first glance, is that the X-835 is kind of like the little brother to Nextiva's 885. So I'm actually really curious to see kind of where this phone shines in comparison to the X-885, which is Nextiva's kind of flagship Nextiva brand phone. Before we unbox this, as always, big thank you to the folks over in Nextiva Marketing for sending us this phone over for unboxing and review. And let's jump into this and see what we got in the box. So here is our actual desk set itself. Here is our AC adapter here. Cat 5 cable, which looks like it's probably a 2-meter or 3-meter cable, so my guess is about 6 foot, maybe 6 or 7 foot. Here is our connector cable here for the actual telephone handset. So this is your telephone handset cord here. Here is the actual handset itself. And here is the actual kickstand for the phone. Okay, so this is everything that's in the box for our Nextiva X-835 desktop IP phone. Going from left to right, you've got your actual handset here for the actual phone receiver. You've got your actual desk phone here. You've got a Cat 5e cable here to connect to Ethernet, like your router or switch or internet, and I believe that is a 6-foot cable. You've got your RJ11 handset cord to connect your handset here to the actual phone. You've got your power adapter here to plug into the wall. And then last but not least, you've got your kickstand here for the actual back of the phone. And we're gonna test and see just what the adjustability is on that. So now let's go ahead and put this thing together and see what we got. Okay, so here we are with the Nextiva X-835 IP phone all hooked up. For those of you who may or may not know, Nextiva's IP phones are manufactured by Vtech. So every IP phone at the time of this video that you guys have seen me do an unboxing for or do a review on from Nextiva, that is a Nextiva brand IP phone. It is actually manufactured and has firmware from Vtech. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about Nextiva's hardware while this is booting up. First of all, Nextiva does sell other phones such as Polycom, Yealink, and some others, but Nextiva offers their own in-house phones that, while not always the cheapest, they tend to have the most flexibility in being able to give you free phones for everybody within your company, depending on the contract agreement you're looking at or how many users you've got or whatever special scenario or special requirements you may have for your business. So just to be clear, Nextiva does offer free phones for some of the other manufacturers like Yealink and Polycom, but they can typically almost always get you free phones on an agreement with their phones in-house, which is the Nextiva brand IP phones manufactured by Vtech. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the buttons and whatnot on this phone. So as you can see, this looks to be and support 8-line capability. So you could probably have 8-line capability on this phone here, or you could do shared line appearance and have 4 lines here and maybe have like 4 shared line for other people in the office. It's got your typical function keys here, which is pretty typical with most IP phones these days, meaning whatever function is down here is what these buttons represent when you're trying to move around. As you can see, you've also got your typical buttons. You've got your directional button here. You've got your accept or make a call, like initiate a call or hang up a call, or you could probably use this in the menus to accept or decline an option. You've also got your typical keypad down here with your typical dial out. You've got your mute, you've got your volume up and down, you've got your speakerphone button, you've got your headset disable or enable button, which I'm curious to see what types of headsets this supports, whether it's Bluetooth, USB, RJ9, we're gonna find all that out. You've got your directory button here, you've got settings, got transfer, and then to place somebody on hold. And then you've also got up here, retrieve voicemail and do not disturb. Let's go ahead and flip this thing over and look around and see what interfaces we have on this before I jump into detailed technical specifications. Okay, so looking at ports and interfaces, there is a lot of them on here. So here you can see your AC power adapter there. That is where you would plug your AC power adapter that I showed you guys earlier. Over here is your actual pass-through, and we'll find out in the technical specifications if it's gigabit or not. I suspect it is. But this right here is where you plug in for your internet. This right here is where you come out and go to a respective PC or other device that needs internet. Here, I'm not sure what this is. It says EHS, but I believe, don't quote me on this, I think this is where you could connect an expansion card to it. Like if you wanted like a 36 or 48 line expansion card for this phone to be able to transfer calls across a larger office or see what other folks are doing. If we flip over to this side, you've got your handset port, which is actually right here, and it's got the handset indicator as you can see there. And then you've also got your RJ9 headset port there. For those of you interested in using a USB headset with the Nextiva X-835, there is your USB port there for USB headset support. So that's a huge plus there. You can also see here that this is wall mountable. So there is wall mount capability here on the back. The wall mount does not come in the box from what I understand, but I'm sure that you can purchase that separately from Nextiva for a very small price. Usually those are less than $20, may even include the shipping. So let's hop into technical specifications and see what you can and can't do. Okay, so according to Nextiva's website, it says the Nextiva X-835 IP phone is a sleek 12-line color IP phone ideal for leads and supervisors. It has a multi-page approach to provide additional programmable keys. What that means is while this says that it is a 12-line capable phone through the buttons on the screen, it probably uses like Digital Call Park to allow you to have even more line shared appearance, line capability, such as outgoing and incoming call capability simultaneously, as well as call parks and shared line appearance above and beyond what the buttons would normally handle. So that's probably done in the actual menus itself and programmable through there. It says that it has a 2.8 inch color LCD display. It is PoE compatible, as we already know, because right now I'm actually powering this with just an Ethernet cable and I'm not using the AC adapter that actually came in the box. It says that it is gigabit Ethernet ports, so that is a plus there, that we definitely have gigabit capability on both of those ports, the incoming internet port as well as the pass-through to go out to a PC or other internet capable device. But it says that it has Wi-Fi with an additional USB dongle. So if I'm understanding this correctly, it means that it does not support Wi-Fi natively. You have to actually have a USB dongle and use the USB port that I showed you guys. It says that this phone also includes speed dialing capability. It has an RJ9 for optional headset input. It says it has one USB input, which I would assume can be used for a headset or also be used for the USB dongle. It says that it has expansion module connectivity up to 3. So that means that that EHS interface that I showed you guys on the back earlier is for an expansion module. One other note that it says on Nextiva's website is that when purchasing this phone through Nextiva, it has a automatic 3-year hardware warranty. And it also says if you're using this phone on Nextiva's rental program, which is kind of like a lease program, your hardware warranty lasts for a lifetime or for the life of your account with Nextiva. So what do I think about this phone? Pros and cons. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, the pro that I like about it is I like the footprint size. It is actually a bit smaller than its bigger brother, the Nextiva X-835, which actually I have sitting right here, if you guys want to see that there. As you can see, they're very similar in appearance, but it's actually quite a bit smaller. So if you're looking for something that's got similar specification and packs just as much of a technical punch as the Nextiva X-885, the X-835 might actually be a good option for you. I actually like the amount of line capability that it has. For phones that cost a similar amount to this, They typically have half the amount of line capability that you can see here than the X-835. So that's actually really nice. I really like the simple interface. I like how the buttons are laid out. It's very large buttons. Strangely enough, I work with a lot of clients, and some contact me that are typically older clients, or they have some minor to major eyesight problems. They'll tell me that they want a phone with large keys because they feel like a lot of the newer phones nowadays have very small keys. Everything is kind of streamlined and minimalized and getting tinier and tinier in the technology world. And they say, Prince, can you please find me a phone that has big keys so that I don't have to look around for them? And also, you know, some people that say that they want keys that are just easier to press. They're not so small that you'll mistype or something like that. So if you're looking for big keys and something that just has a very simple, easy to understand layout, everything is kind of logically where you'd expect it, like mute, volume, speaker, directory, settings, things like that, this is probably a great phone for you if you're looking for something that has relatively good ease of use and everything is easy for you to find and logically makes sense. The PoE ports that I showed you guys earlier, giving it the ability to power it without having to use the AC adapter, is a huge plus. The fact that it has a color screen, where a lot of phones that are around the same price as this are just monochrome, is a pro as well. And the fact that it has the gigabit is nice also. Last but not least, for me, one of the bigger pros that I like as well is the fact that it has the USB port for optional USB headset use. And of course, you could use RJ9 as well if you prefer to use RJ9, but I think everything is kind of moved to either wireless or USB for headsets as standard at this point. Okay, so let's talk about cons, what I don't like about this phone. First and foremost, and this could be me just being a little picky, I feel like the actual screen is super small. It's one of the smallest LCD screens, or screens in general, that I've seen on pretty much any IP phone that I've ever laid my hands on. It's really tiny. I mean, to put it into perspective, Poly VVX250, while an excellent phone and still one of Polycom's most sold #1 phones on the market, had up until this point one of the smallest screens of any phone that I've like laid eyes on or reviewed on this channel. But this thing definitely is the crown holder. So really small screen, but it's color, so that's its saving grace. The other con that I don't like about this phone is that, if I'm understanding the verbiage on Nextiva's website correctly, this does not support Wi-Fi natively, like say a Yealink T54W does, or a Yealink T56A does, and just has Wi-Fi built in directly where you can connect to an SSID and get your internet without any Ethernet cables or Cat5 cables. It sounds like, yes, it's Wi-Fi capable, but with a dongle. But if we're being honest, I don't really know that you could fully advertise that as, hey, this is a Wi-Fi phone, because at this point in time in 2021, pretty much any IP phone out there whose manufacturer creates a Wi-Fi compatible dongle, you can make it Wi-Fi compatible. So if that's the case, it means that technically or theoretically, any IP phone could just say, oh, we support Wi-Fi, because you have to buy an add-on to give it Wi-Fi. So I don't know, that one's kind of a bit of a letdown for me. If I'm understanding that verbiage correctly, it advertises as a Wi-Fi capable phone, but that is only with a dongle. And in my opinion, as somebody who's laid eyes and hands on many IP phones, that's not truly Wi-Fi ready, or built-in Wi-Fi capable, as I would call it. Okay, so the final con, my final complaint about this phone is I absolutely do not like the mount, the actual kickstand or desk stand for this phone. This seems to be something that is very typical with these Nextiva desk IP phones that are from Vtech, or in general seems to be a very typical thing with the Vtech desktop style IP phones, is these strange kickstands. Most people's kickstands nowadays, they have a thing where it goes kind of into the actual chassis this way, and you have usually like multiple variations of adjustability, usually 2 to 3, but Nextiva with the Vtech, you know, white labeling has this thing where this is pretty much all you get, and there really is no real adjustability with the phone. Now, while this is a good angle, and I'm not complaining about that, my biggest complaint with this is when you have this here, it is virtually impossible, without breaking things or hurting your fingers or just feeling like something is going to get jostled loose or completely destroyed, to deal with your ports and interfaces on the inside of the phone while the kickstand is on. It just completely covers everything there. So much so, like, I can't even get light in there to show you guys what's in there during this filming. So really, I noticed in filming this and moving this phone around and having to take the Ethernet out or plug in the AC or plug in the headset, the handset, I'm constantly having to take this thing off. The other thing that I really don't like about this kickstand is how far back and how deep it goes. I was constantly struggling with this hitting the back wall in our studio or hitting just various things like lighting or camera equipment. So it just seems like this could have been manufactured a little better, if I'm just being totally honest with you guys. Like, this could be angled a little differently so that it doesn't take up as much foot space and as much desk space horizontally than it actually is. For those of you who are wondering about pricing, the Nextiva X-835 IP phone starts at $149.99, or you can get it for $5.50 per month on a rental with Nextiva. You can only purchase this phone from Nextiva. Unfortunately, there won't be any links in the description of this video to Amazon or VoIP Supply or anything like that. This is a Nextiva exclusive only phone. Of course, it is available not only for new customers who are interested in Nextiva service with these phones or any other Nextiva brand phones, but users that are currently in contract or currently using service on the Nextiva platform can also use and adopt this phone. One other thing that I wanted to put out there is that Nextiva does offer free phones. They are one of the last remaining few major service providers that we work with that offers free phones for customers on new service agreements, but they can typically go all out on free phone availability or discounted pricing when it comes to their brand of IP phones, such as our phone today, the Nextiva X-835. So if you're interested in this phone, go ahead and just reach out to us directly, and I'll connect you up with our contacts, not only to see if Nextiva makes the most sense for your business. They can also show you demos and things like that, answer any questions that you have about the service, the features, or their pricing and contract terms, but they will also be able to get you a solid quote with our special pricing, which is better than what you can get if you shop Nextiva direct. So always contact us first if you're interested in our help, and they can see which phones and which solutions Nextiva offers over there that make the most sense for your business. If you're watching this video and you found it interesting or helpful, go ahead and give this video a like. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because you're watching the #1 channel on all things business, phone systems, and internet related advice and educational videos to help you make the best buying decisions, and probably also even save yourself quite a bit of money along the way. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any content when it releases. As always, this is Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, your go-to guy for the best deals on business phone and internet service in the United States. I'll catch you guys again in the next video.